learning goal today is the student will understand how to find quartiles and use them to compare groups. So today we're going to be talking about quartiles and interquartile range. So let's be like, what is quartiles and interquartile range? Okay, what is the prefix of quartiles? Quart, okay? And that's just like quarters. How many quarters are in a dollar? 4. It is separating this data into 4 groups, which is why it's called quartiles. Okay, so what we always do first is we continue to put the numbers in order. So we put the numbers in order and we find the median just like we did in the warm-up. So we find the middle number. Okay, so that's the same. Then what we do is we look at this set and we basically find the median again. Okay, so this is the 17. Do you see how it's exactly in the middle of that data set? And that is called the lower quartile, or sometimes it's called quartile 1. Okay, then we do the exact same thing on the upper set of data, which is called the upper quartile. So now we look at this data set, and again, we find the median, which is 43, and that is now the upper quartile. And if you're like, well, that's only 3 numbers, how is that 4 data sets? Because you have a set here, there's 1, another set here is 2, another set here is 3, and another set here is 4. You now have 4 sets of numbers that are separated out. Okay, so if I want to find the interquartile range, range is always separating the upper from the lower, right? So you take the upper quartile, which is 43, and you subtract out the lower quartile, which was 17, and that will give you the interquartile range. So 43 minus 17 is 26, and that would be the interquartile range. Okay, so that's kind of an overview. We're going to do one together to make sure that you can see the breakdown of how that works. Okay, all right, I think I'm going to skip to this one, and let's see. Yes, let's skip to this one and let's do this one together and then we'll go back up. All right, what is step 1? What's the very first thing you have to do? Put them in order. Okay, so put them in order. Step 1. Order. Okay, so start with your lowest. All right, so I have them in order. Who knows what the next step was? What do we do next after we put them in order? You look for the median, right? So everything's the same as the other day. So 2, look for the median. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. So I'm going to have 2 of them in the middle, which are these 2. What is in the middle of 25 and 25? 25, okay? So this becomes our median right here at 25, right smack in the middle. Okay? All right, so now the next step was basically to find the median again, but only of the lower. So now let's look at the lower numbers. So we're going to look at the lower numbers, and we're going to find the median again. Okay, so we're not using this number, but we're going to use everything else. Okay, so do you see how I'm never going to use the actual median, but I'm going to use all the numbers around it? Okay, so look at what I've underlined in blue. What is the median of all the numbers in blue? 23.5. You see that would be the middle of those 3? Okay, all right, so this number is called the lower quartile, okay, or quartile 1. Now, let's look at the upper set. So I'm going to go here, come all the way over here. What is the median? Oh, I probably should have written this down for my set. So now we're going to look at the upper and find the median again. what is the median of the upper set? Z? 27. Very good. So here's this one. This is now the upper quartile. Or quarter 3. Okay, so this says, what is the IQR? That stands for inner quartile range. So this is inner quartile range. Okay, how do we find the inner quartile range? How do you find range? It's the same words from Tuesday. Very good. You take 27 minus 23.5 because you're looking for the range of these two quartiles. Okay, so 27 minus 23.5. I take, let's see, 27 minus 23.5, and I get 3.5. So my answer is 3.5. Okay, questions? So if you can find the median, then you just find the median again, right? You just have to remember to do what with the numbers first? Put them in order. Okay, yes? Yes. If they ask you to find the median or the inner quartile range, you will. All right, now let's back up to some of these other slides now that we've gone through that again. So I think we need to go back to this one. Okay, have you guys seen a picture of this before? No, we've never been exposed to this weird looking graph. Yes, you have? You have seen it? Never seen it in your life? You've seen it? Okay, so this is called a box plot, or sometimes you'll see it box and whisker. It is honestly a graph I've never seen in my life other than when I teach math. I don't know why it's a weird graph, but it's on every standardized test almost that you're going to see. So that's why we have to go over it. Okay, this is basically what we just talked about. So let me tell you the different parts of this. What do you think this is right here? The middle. So that is the median. There we go. That's the median. Okay. Now, think about what we just did. What do you think this is? The lower quartile. Yes, it is. The lower quartile. Okay. And what do you think this is? The upper quartile. Good. That is the upper quartile. Okay. And the only ones I haven't shown you is this and this. Do you think you would know what this is? What do you think that would represent? Any idea? Okay, yeah, the number would be 144. Okay, what do you think that would be in the data set? Preston? Exactly. That is the lowest number to help you find the range. Does that make sense? So that would be the lowest number. Sometimes these are called outliers, but it is basically the lowest number. Okay, and so, oops, lowest. Okay, and what do you think this is then? The highest number. Good. Okay, so basically what the box and whisker does, or box plot does, is it shows you all of that data in picture form. It just shows you what we did in a picture. Okay, it also separates the data into the 4 parts like I was telling you. Okay, so this says find the range and inner quartile range. So how would I find the range? How would I find the range?
Take the 140, 200 minus 140.
Okay, so when I look at it, it looks like slightly over 200. Would you agree?
No.
So what do you want to estimate that at? Okay, what do these count by? Tens. So that can't be over 10. 202, 203-ish. Okay? Okay, so we'll go with 203. And then I have to subtract what number?
144.
I heard 144, I had 145. All those would be fine. Anything close. Okay? All right, so this is going to tell me my range. So 203 minus 144 is 59. So there's my range. Okay, how am I going to find my inner quartile range? Cassie.
Subtract the lowest quartile from subtract the upper quartile from the lower.
Good. So if I'm looking at that one, here's my upper quartile. What do we want to estimate that at?
180.
Okay. And subtract it from this one right here. 157? 155, 156. Okay. Any of those would probably be fine. All right. So 188 minus 155, and whoops, I think I hit that wrong. 188 minus 155, 33. And that is the inner quartile range of the temperatures. Okay, all right. And the last one's super easy, right? Find the median. What would the median be? 170. To see, it already told us the picture. So this is extremely helpful because you didn't have to order numbers. You didn't have to find it all. It just showed you in a picture, which makes your life a lot easier. So that's why box and whisker can be nice. Okay? All right, we've already done the next slide. All right, let's see if we can answer this question then. All right, so a biology student is studying 2 species of endangered parrots. Sorry. What is the median wingspan of each sample? And then they want us to make a comparison inference based on the median values. So you have the first parrot. What is its, wingspan is, right? All the way across like that. Okay? All right, so what is the median of his wingspan? I wouldn't say 45. 45 would be right here.
Oh, there's a line.
42.
42.
There you go. Somewhere in here. So whatever you want to say that is, 42 maybe. Okay, 42 inches. All right. The second parrot has what? 33-ish? Okay, I can go with that. Or 34. That would be fine too. Okay, what could you say then about these parrot samples? Because remember, they've measured a whole bunch of parrots with each group. This is their median. What would you say about these parrots? It's in inches.
9 inches.
Okay, so what would you say? What would you conclude about these parrots? I have no idea how to say them.
But it's something's 9.
Okay, but it didn't ask for the difference. It says you have to make an inference based on that. What would you say about these parrots?
That the first one is has a bigger wingspan than the cockapoo.
The cockapoo. Yeah, I don't know how to say these. Yeah, wouldn't you compare that this first macaw parrot would be a larger parrot? Wouldn't you? If the median, if their average wingspan is 9 inches bigger than the other one, it's probably a bigger parrot than the other set of parrots. Okay, that's what you would conclude on that. Good. All right. All right, let's look at this one. Another one that we need to be able to compare. Okay, so this one is a book publisher is testing 2 versions of a new book. A random sample of people are given 30 minutes to read each version. What is the median of each sample? And then we're going to make a comparative inference based on the median values. So what's the median values of version A? 25, good. What's the median value on the other one?
23.
Okay. So they were given 30 minutes to read each version. What would you conclude? Cassie?
One shorter than the other.
Shorter than the other?
Yeah.
It's the same book, right? Version A and version B.
Less pages.
It's the same
Less
book.
words.
Oh.
Wait, the same book.
Wait.
Number of pages.
Reader is
But remember, this is a whole bunch of people. I gave this whole class version A. I gave Mr. Hill's class version B.
Then one class has a faster average.
Remember, they're different versions of the same book.
Like
One of them looks shorter.
When you mean shorter, what do you mean?
Like it doesn't have as many pages.
not as many words.
Oh, say that again.
More words on the page.
There might be one that has more words on a page, so maybe they make. You guys remember elementary school? The words were big, and then as you get bigger, they get smaller and smaller. So this is saying that version A, they read more pages, so maybe there were fewer words on the page. That could have been an inference we made based on that. Okay? All right, next type of graph we want to look at